As a big Saints Row fan, I've been particularly intrigued by Agents of Mayhem because a new IP within the Saints universe. Although developer Volition has been at its pains to note that it's definitely not playing another title in the popular series. Guys, it's Mario here, and so let's get started. After playing, I've come to the conclusion that it feels an awful lot like the predecessor. While I really like the core gameplay mechanics, an uninteresting world and performance issues severely hampered my experience. The opening, the first 10 minutes sees the game's premise excellently presented. A nicely animated opening cutscene establishes the two rival factions as well as introduces the funny and exciting gang of playable characters. Up first is Hollywood, a cocky yet humorous jock with penchant for big explosions, very much like Johnny Gat, sunglasses and all. He has been ripped out of the game, I would say so, because there are tons of similarities between the both of them. And that's not actually a bad thing. He's joined by Hat Truck and Fortune, and taking advantage of the trio presents agents' best mechanics. Throughout the game, you'll be able to switch between three agents. You'll recruit more than bespoken missions on the fly with each other while possessing their own playstyle and special abilities. Hollywood is an all-rounder. Hat Truck is the up-close shotgunner, and Fortune each controls in a very different way and requires an adoption of various approaches while dealing with the enemies. It reminds me of The Club, the underrated arcade shooter of a previous console generation, wrapped around in a gorgeous aesthetic look. Like the spiritual successor to Perfect Dark Zero, Agents of Mayhem makes a brilliant first impression. Gameplay-wise, the similarities to Saints Row keep on coming. Just as I said, characters move around in a slow pace, but the gorgeous visuals and motion blurs make it work. Shooting is satisfying thanks to the overwhelming strength against most of the enemies, and their difficulty is also pretty good as what I have tried. However, the slower aiming and movement can at times feel a little sluggish, particularly when combat becomes heated and requires a little more finesse, causing frustration as a result of inaccuracy. Because I have been playing a lot of Overwatch recently, and I guess you can say that I have been accustomed to the fast-paced shooting, so that's not a big issue here. But still, I just wanted to point that out. But much like Saints, Agents never take itself too seriously. Instead, it focuses on the run, highlighted by the Agents Mayhem abilities. Mayhem abilities are equivalent of super moves that can be triggered to unleash devastation in spectacular fashion. Hollywood's blockbuster allows him to live out his movie fantasy while constant explosions kicking off everywhere. It looks brilliant and creates a level of chaos that's great to watch. It's here where Agents of Mayhem shines. Unfortunately, performance issues cast a huge shadow and great moments are often spoiled. So I would humbly like to request Volition to give a first day patch, cause if a person buys this game and plays it on the first day, they would be disappointed, just like I was, because there were a lot of performance issues. The game was really not well optimized, and still it lagged in, well, how do I say this? Sometimes even the frame rate dropped to 2 to 3 FPS. That's how much badly optimized it was. Moving on, in this build, the frame rate was very, it rarely ran steady. The greater the action on this, the worse it became. This severely hindered the experience and made the controls, which already felt a little sluggish due to the slow aiming and character movements, feel awful at times. See, when you are bringing a AAA title like Agents of Mayhem, you have to sort out all the differences, cause you invested a lot of money in that game, and if it does not work and if people say that this game is shit, then that really leaves a bad mark on the reputation of the company as well as the series. So that's what I would like to say. Just give a first week patch, a first day patch, I guess, so that players would be happy to play the game. Well, but outside of these two concerns, Agents does plenty to retain my interest. Having the capability to upgrade and change perks as well as Agents' abilities on the Ark, the hub base, is great, enabling the spend of power cores which can be collected throughout the world. It actually kind of feels like Crackdown, but on crack, as you can say. That was a bad one, I know. Although I played only a few missions in my most limited hours with the game, but I still have completed the game, which was which had me most excited was that the missions in which new agents are unlocked. It felt like collecting Pokemon with these pumped up characters added to the roster as soon as the mission was completed. While the world of Agents of Mayhem didn't excite me, the co-shooting and running around was enjoyable enough to keep me playing. Plus the prospect of unlocking new agents from very staff and really relieved that itching of earning new stuff. However, the performance issues are a real sticking point. It's a shame because I really want to love agents, but when its greatest strengths are held back by a huge flaw, as I said, a huge flaw, just one flaw, it's difficult not to become incredibly frustrated. I actually contacted Violation and they told me that there will be a patch arriving around the launch day, but it will need to be drastically addressed to the frame rate in order to allow this game to shine to its full potential. So guys, like if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll catch you in my next one. Peace.